Well, hi, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me in my shop here. It's February 1st. Oh my gosh, January's done. It's behind us. Wow, January was a tough month for my wife and me. We had something we had to get done by the end of the month. It involved an awful lot of work, but we got it done. And that's partly why you haven't seen so many videos from me during January. So, another warm day outside too. It's 2 degrees outside now, and just looks like there just isn't going to really be a winter here. There still is snow on the ground that fell a couple of weeks ago. A fair bit fell, and so it hasn't disappeared, but it's just no winter for Jimmy. I shouldn't be complaining. I'm saving lots of money on the gas bill for heating in my house. Okay, so what are we going to do here? So the last video I explored this intermittent difficulty with this IF transformer. Had one trimmer on it, and I considered what can I do about this? And considering all the facts involved, including the owner's perspective on this thing too, what makes most sense is for me to simply tune the radio as best I can, try to avoid that dead spot that's in there, or the trouble spot, just get it as good as I can. Then so that'll be it for the radio. Then the next thing is just to verify that this is working properly. This is the jack that you're going to plug in your auxiliary input. Okay, so first bit of business here is going to be ensuring the alignment is good. I think I can just do it by ear because it's only one item to turn and find the sensitive spot and then back away from it a little bit, and that should work out. Okay, let's turn it down a little bit. So we can watch this meter, make it a little more sensitive here. Watch this meter. I'm going to tune the radio to its highest point. There we are. Now the question is, can I make that go any higher? And without... Okay, watching.
Pretty hilarious when you think about the fact that it's Canadians going up against gargantuan New York Rangers, but yeah, like it is. Sorry, it's just the way it is. I wanted to get to, we're going to chat some more NHL All-Star Weekend festivities with Kat Silverman, hockey journalist, also member of the Arizona Coyotes Department of Amateur Hockey Development. Kat, a lifetime hockey writer. You can find her work at Yahoo Sports, NHL.com. She'll join us
Very good.
at the bottom of the hour, and we'll chat certainly about the All-Star Week. We get into some goaltending.
That's that. Now the next thing is just to check this, and then it's back into the cabin. Very good.
Can you bring this one home? This won't be easy. Find a way to convict them. Send them away for life.
Okay, so I have a Bluetooth receiver here, and the Bluetooth is paired to my phone, which is playing a music video right now. So this is plugged into the Bluetooth, so when I jam this into here, the radio should cut out, and this music, whatever's playing on my phone, should be in its place. Here we go. Okay, now maybe there's a volume issue. Oh! Well, it's still the radio coming through. Okay, I'm going to tune off station a little bit. Why are we not hearing the music? Okay, I have to pursue the issue here. So I've got so many Bluetooth devices that there's a chance my phone is hooked up to something else, but I think it's this one it's hooked up to. It says paired on it. Right. Okay. Easiest way to check this. I'm going to direct the output straight into my audio system. Well, this is not going very well at all. Okay. Try this. Over here, what am I doing? Over here fooling around with my sound here. Now, the main problem is I can't hear any of this myself. Okay, I gotta stop. I gotta sort. Too many things here. Too many things to sort out all at once. Okay, forced back to square one. So we're checking the output of this. This is now plugged directly into my sound, and we're listening to the amazing Mark Knopfler Telegraph Road, but I can only play moments of it. Let's see if I can hear it already. So there's no question that there's a connection between my phone and the Bluetooth guy. Now, the only issue here. Why is it not coming out of there? Okay, so we're going to I'm using a different cord here. Let's try this. So I just did that test using one cord, but I was actually playing the song through the radio using a different cord. So, maybe the issue is a cord here. Kind of doubt it, but so this has a plug like that. Okay, here we go. This up a little bit. So I've tuned it between stations. You're hearing a bunch of noise. I could get rid of that by just taking off the antenna. So now the radio is very quiet. Okay, we'll plug this guy in. Whoops, let's just turn down the volume here because we don't know. Not a thing. Is it still playing? Yeah, he's still singing. Okay. So, well, what happened? I put this together and tested it. And it certainly seemed to work. Now what I'm doing is I'm forcing myself to test it using a line level type output as opposed to an earphone output, which is a different matter. Maybe I used an earphone output last time. I barely hear it. It's coming out of here. Full volume. Oh my gosh. Okay, so really the whole job here on this radio was simply to find the open resistor and get the radio operating again, get the amplifier portion of the radio operating again, and then that would have been a satisfactory result. But what I ended up doing is spending a lot of time fiddling around with the radio, and here I am back just making sure that the audio thing works, and doesn't appear to work quite the way I expected. Let's try this in an earphone jack again, because maybe it just needs that kind of power. So difficulty with this radio is none. There's no difficulty with this radio.
Totally glowing. Did you meet someone? Well, I met the one.
Oops.
Facial and but they also offer tattoo removal, body sculpting, and more. I have to meet the one. Book your appointment today at the One Face and Body.
So I'm going to stick this into the earphone jack.
Smoke burger, mouth-watering Canadian beef, never frozen, with sensational size and shakes for dine-in, takeout, or...
No commitment and a month of unlimited free deliveries. Just
you're hearing it out of the radio here.
Deliver Sobeys, Marlowe's, Farboy, and more. See terms and conditions at voila.ca.
When Cupid shoots his arrow, it's all about the blend of two perfectly matched. Hi, it's Rachel at My Better Mortgage. We're all about finding the
Hi,
perfect
Rachel.
blend of everything that you need too. If you're midway through and you need to clear off debt and extend, it's the best way to access equity and keep your existing mortgage.
Let's sing about our mortgages. Everybody.
MyBetterMortgage.ca.
Singing about a mortgage. I often think about singers in ads like that. And I think there they are singing this jingle, saying to themselves, this is where my singing career got me. That's what I think is going on there. Well, okay. So, earphone jack produces enough output to drive the radio. The line level is just not sufficient. That's my determination here. So I'm going to stop at the moment and ponder the situation here. How is the owner doing this? Is he using an earphone jack or is he using a line level output to drive the radio? I will find out. In the meantime, Mark, you can stop playing. We're not even listening to you anymore. Well, through the magic of video, it's now the next day. It's the second day of February. And what I want to focus on today, something I almost forgot about, is this capacitor that's located down here. It's a block capacitor. It's a large plastic or phenolic or some kind of material block here of capacitors. And the thing about these is, this one in particular, if this should short out, it's hooked straight to the two power lines. So it would short the power lines. Now if it's a really strong short, your breaker or your fuse is going to blow in your house. But if it turns out to be a weak short, this will turn into some kind of 1,000-watt heater for a second or two and then catch fire. So that's really the concern here is, if this capacitor should fail in a certain way, the result is, if not a fire to burn down your house, one smoky mess. That's what would come out of that. So we're going to replace this block here with a much more suitable capacitors that are designed for that kind of service. Go right across the power line like that. But I think we need to start by studying the schematic a bit. Just see exactly how that capacitor has been done there. Okay, so here we are, model 49, and we're looking at the power coming in on the power cord, and there's the capacitor right there. Two of them connected to ground. The ground connection on these capacitors is made by the screw that goes through the block to hold the block to the chassis. That is the ground point. So when you look at it, you don't actually see anything grounded. The terminals really designed for this kind of purpose here. So you have a wire coming in and then a wire going out, and this is the capacitor terminal, and you can't see this ground really. The other terminal, and then the other side's the same way. It's a continuous terminal with two wires attached. Now there's three sets of terminals on this capacitor. One set is unused, but in fact it's connected to I can see it's under that screw I mentioned. So the last set is actually just more ground terminals available for use in the radio if you want to. But they're not being used. So I just need to fit, these are 0.01s, something like that. They don't have to be 0.01s, they can be a little bigger than that. We'll stick that in there and perhaps prevent a conflagration down the road. Okay, very simple. Let's go back to the radio. Let me get my other camera here. Hey, where is the other camera? Oh, it's up here. So we take a closer look at the situation. So there's the block. It's installed on a bit of an angle in this radio, and you can see this is the center screw, or the hold down screw. If I pull that screw out, this block will come out. And we see the in and the out, sort of the way these terminals work. You connect a wire there and out that way, and then here's the capacitor connection down internally around to this terminal or to this area here, internally. And this is the other capacitor here, wire coming in, wire going out. And again, down below here is another capacitor, and the other lead of the capacitor is hooked up onto this terminal internally. This one's got some solder on it. There's bare wire running here. Probably not best. It's a very short run, but this is 120 volts here. The plug for this radio is non-polarized plug. And from the switch, after the switch, it goes up to the switch. After the switch, this is going to the transformer primary, and so is this wire down here going to the transformer primary. The difficulty here is making connections to these wires without having terminals to make the connections to. And funny things when you look at stuff in not in 3D. There's no spare terminals here. When I take this out, there might be space to put a terminal strip in down low there. So there's no difference here between this wire. I can just cut all these wires off. They don't have to be maintained in any particular, I don't want to use the word polarity, but let's say arrangement. Autofocus. Okay, that's those two. Now the transformer wires could be quite stiff. These ones here, and they do feel pretty darn stiff. Could be a problem here with the stiffness of the wires. Show you what that part looks like. So what they've done is they've potted the capacitor components inside here. If we broke this open, it'd be full of a black compound of some sort. I'm trying to read what it says on there. 3903. I don't know what it says there. My little you see that's goes down into the chassis, and up here it's making contact with this, becomes a ground contact. Oh, this is compound here. just put the parts in, turn it upside down, pour in the compound, and then they just let the compound solidify, and that's it. Ooh, this stuff melts. Pretty sure it'll melt. If I got a lighter handy. Maybe it'll burn too. I don't think I'll do that experiment, but you can imagine this heating up and then this stuff just melting out of it. So here's the spot. Here is the spot. Now, can I get a terminal strip down in there? Good question. How stiff are these wires? So these ones are fine. Well, I can move them a little bit. Just this one wire, actually. The other wire is coming off the switch here, so I just have just this one. This wire is going to the transformer. Yeah, so this is a transformer lead. You don't want to fool with this too much. Not a good idea. Okay. I think we know what's next. I gotta find a couple of good capacitors to stick in there. Yeah. That'll fit in there nicely. I just need 2 terminals. This comes with 1, 2, 3, and this one here. I just want to take this off. Perfect. I can bolt this in here. I get a single ground terminal and a bunch of other terminals, even though I don't need them. I could break off this one, but that's okay. Let's see if it'll fit. Let's break the last one off here. Very good. Screw that in and hook the wires up to it, and that should work. Very good. Okay, let's size everything up here. So I have a small screw, some lock washers to bite into the chassis. Make sure I got a good ground on this terminal. We're going to set this right in here. The long screw is going to extend upwards a little bit. It'll be okay. Now, these wires, I might be able to pull some of this back here a little bit. So this is a, the retaining knot. This has been done correctly, actually, the way this is done. Maybe I can avoid that, undoing this knot. Not really. Leave the knot there. I'll just put some other kind of restraint here. That's what I'll do with that. Okay, now we've got this wire here. I don't want to bend too much. should I mount the bracket? Where'd the bracket go? Should I mount that and then solder to it? Should I solder the wires and then mount the... where'd it go? I've lost... Oh my gosh. What do I do with it? There it is. It's in here. Crying out loud. So make it a little more flexible. He's doing these first two wires are very flexible, so I could take care of these. The capacitor. So what I'm trying to do here is basically dry fit everything. And then stick it in the radio and see what it amounts to. So I think I put these capacitors on the wrong side. So I twisted the two leads together to go to ground. Sit out this way a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this up. Actually go like this. What are you saying, Jim? I'm going to make this up? Move this wire up to the end here. This other one. Okay, the screw is going to come right up and kind of bump up in here. I think that's fine. I'll just take a look at it when I put it in. Then the last wire will make a connection. Still have this little piece here. I don't think that little piece is going to reach anywhere. Way too much ground sticking out here. I don't want to solder anything until I'm pretty sure everything's fitting. Okay, so we're going down there. Something like that. I think that's good. Okay, screw that in. Might as well do it now. I have a lock, a split ring lock here on the outside. nut in there. And another lock washer. It's all covered up here. Whoop, where'd it go? Went flying. Couldn't have flown too far. Oh my gosh, where did it go? Because I sounded like it flew right across my shop. How could that be? Well, it beat a hasty retreat. Okay, we'll find another one here. A little bitty one. There's one. Okay, don't fly off this time. That one's in the radio here somewhere. So normally I don't video this part of the work. I sort of video the thinking part, decision making part. I tend to not video this part. So you know what? I'm not going to continue the video because this is going to go on for a while. I'll get that nut on there, get this thing bolted down tight, drink some coffee, and then we'll finish off the wiring there. Okay, so I am going to video a little bit of this. So I've made the first connection out here. This is actually going better than I kind of anticipated. I'm just going to get rid of some excess wire here. So I have to extend this wire here from the switch into a bit of an awkward spot, so I didn't quite think everything out. I was not in there all that well. You have to run a little piece of wire from the back of the switch here to the terminal I have now tucked way up in behind. That shouldn't be too bad. Just a short little piece of wire. Very good. Yeah, this is actually going better than I expected. Okay, let's see if I can get this on video. So I'm going to try to go at that back terminal now that I've made so difficult for myself to access. So you can look through this camera here, and yeah, isn't that a schmozzle of stuff? So what I want to do, I want to try to pass the connecting wire right through the hole in the terminal where there's already a wire. Right. Not get through the hole here. Okay, hold on. A lot of focus there, eh? Okay, bear with me a second here while I oh, what happened to the focus box? I must have closed it previously. Okay, I'm just going to adjust the focus on that camera. Kind of booped that up. Picked the wrong camera. Okay, just a moment here. This is the exciting part of the video. let's continue. Whole deal here. Go through. Going through and it's hitting the body of the capacitor. That's what's happening. The fact is, I'm looking from so far away here. I could just be completely wrong about what I think is happening. Yeah, it's going in. Not going any further. Well, what about just like that? What would be wrong with it? Just like that. If I just bend this over, that, do that. Solder that baby up. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but in the background, I've left the, you can see the long capacitor lead sticking out and hitting the chassis back there. That's okay. We'll deal with that. Next, first, solder this guy. Now this might just, I might just end up right in front of the camera here doing this. No, maybe not. I don't know. Did I get any solder on anything? I think that's got it. Nope. Well, that ain't soldered in there. That didn't work at all. Okay, so we're going to forget about going around through the hole. I'm just going to try to go around the terminal. Yes, you know, if I'd been thinking, I would have realized I could have soldered a tail, like this wire. I could have soldered this on before I bolted the thing in. I should have been thinking harder. This is what happens when you plan things out, but you don't plan them out 100%, and doesn't that happen to us all the time? Plan stuff out, and then halfway through it we realize, oh, we didn't think of something. And you get into a jackpot, or a very difficult situation that you cannot easily get out of. You had no intention of getting into. I think that's called life. Once again, try the solder. Actually, one of the things that drives me totally nuts in life is when I have to do something and I go, oh, there's two ways of doing this. There's kind of what people might call the right way, and then there's the fast way. And I decide, oh, I'm going to do the fast way, save some time. And then can't see a thing here. And then in the course of doing the fast way, everything goes wrong, and you end up everything taking much longer than you originally expected. What all am I touching with the soldering iron here? I don't know what I did there. If you're looking in the camera, you're maybe getting a better view. I'm not looking at the camera view. Well, that looks pretty good. I think I got it. saying something, and now, I've forgotten what I was saying. I was on my way to making some kind of big point about life, and I didn't. I don't like how it looks. Let me get this out of here first. Another thing I could have done ahead of time. Oh, jeepers. Let's get rid of this piece of wire. Somehow I thought it would be easier to do this. See, I guess that's a good example right there. So what I'm at risk of is becoming very, very frustrated because I thought I was taking a nice approach. Turns out there's problems. Okay, now we get a good look at it. So you see, I think I've got the wire soldered to the wire, but they're not soldered to the and what did I see back there? They're not soldered to the terminal. I didn't get the terminal on. Something funny in there too. Let me just take a look here. And I'm gonna put a little more light on in my shop here for me. Okay. What was I seeing? I'm seeing it in the camera view, I think. And what I was doing, I was wiggling the wire, and then I was noticing something there. Yeah, there's something. Jeepers creepers. There appears to be something in behind here. I can't get a look at it. Let's try my oh so powerful flashlight. Oh. There is nothing there, but there are some strands flying around up here now. Not to the terminal. The two wires are connected, so it would actually be okay. But I want it fused to that terminal too. So here we go. Once again, what do I do with the light? That's better. That's on the terminal now. Kind of ugly looking though, isn't it? Yeah, that's got it. Okay. Now this blue wire needs to go up and attach here, like so. Somehow I managed to put the camera right where I want to put my hands all the time. There we go. Where's my stronger pliers? Here they are. get soldered. Burned plastic. Don't like that smell. Oh yeah, that's soldered on there. So there we have almost all the connections. I've got to put more solder down here. Duh. Okay. Now, did you think I was going to forget that ground connection? Okay, that's got to be it. A little slippy on the soldering iron there. Okay, so I think I've got them all connected now. Take a close look. Look for some kind of short circuit or something that may have, there are little strands in these. This is an unused tap on this control. Little tiny strands of wire that can escape observation. Okay. Sometimes there can be strings from the insulation that look like wires. They look very much like wires. They can be kind of frayed out. I think we got it. I think we're done. Now let's just look at it from a logical point of view here. So we've got the two power wires coming in. The two power wires attached to the terminal of each of these capacitors. The other terminals of the two capacitors are twisted together and connected to a grounded terminal here. So that represents the filter on the power line to stop power line interference from coming into the radio and from the radio transmitting interference out, although I don't think that's very likely. It's more to stop basically motor sparking noise from traveling up the power lines and getting into your radio. So now this wire is connected to goes to the transformer primary lead, and it's tied to the power. And the other transformer power lead is up here on the switch, just behind the capacitor here. And this wire gets to this wire through the switch and this blue wire. Yeah, everything makes sense. The reason I'm taking time to do that is because this is right on the power cord. And a little mistake here can be more exciting than you might want. I'm not looking for that kind of excitement. So time to test the radio here and see. Now if these filters are bad, don't quote me on this, I may have this wrong, then you can get this phenomenon called intermodulation distortion. And I shouldn't have even said that. It can be the case that when you tune between stations, say you're listening to AM radio, tune between stations, you just hear the hiss. And as you tune a station in, a hum appears with it. And then when you tune the station out, you just go back, there's no hum. There's always a hum when you tune something in. That can be related to these capacitors here. There's a couple of techniques used with those capacitors. This is they're using two capacitors going to ground. A lot of these radios don't have one capacitor from one side of the line, that's all, going to ground. And you wouldn't think that that could generate the kind of hum, this weird, only shows up when you tune something in hum. But that's where it can be coming from. Okay, so I'm going to neaten this up, and we're going to play the radio, and then see if I think that might be the last thing I need to do to it too. So before I start up the radio here, let's give this guy a little bit of a test and see how it comes out. Now, I'm just going to use this machine. Whoops, sorry about that. Makes a big bang on the videos. That's to the ground terminal and then one of the capacitors. 0.01, I believe, is what these are supposed to be. So this is, well, how do you like that? Pretty close. That'd be a 0.01, 0.013 microfarads. Now, how does it get to read higher than the rating? It usually indicates there's some leakage in here. The thing I think I didn't explain about this capacitor and the way it's wired in the radio is that you plug the radio in the wall. This capacitor is hooked up to, so it's very similar. V loss 4. Let's try this on the leak. On the leak test here. Reading a little high usually indicates there's a bit of a leak going on. And so this cord is just it's about to break. I'm good for maybe 3 more tests. It's going to break off. So I go on one capacitor and the ground lead. Okay. Now watching the eye at the bottom here. This is 50 volts being applied to this capacitor. Look at that. It opened right up. Wow. Okay, 150. It's only opening up just a little bit. A brand new capacitor, or a capacitor in like new condition, I could crank this all the way up to 450 volts, and this eye would pop open like you see it now. This capacitor is only good to, I can't say that, I was going to say good to 150, but that doesn't make sense what I'm saying. Let's try the other one. 50 volts. And 150 volts, similar to the other side. So definitely some signs of leaking here. Certainly not the worst in the world. Worst capacitor in the world. There we go. Radio is much safer with that out though. Because, as I mentioned before, and I'm going to say this again, plug this radio in the wall and these capacitors are energized. Doesn't matter what you do with the switch. These capacitors are right across the power line. Okay, we're ready to try it out. So, volume down. We're on the broadcast band. I think it'd be wise if you stood back just a little bit from this. Get ready to run. My door is closed, but yeah, and the shop door opens inward. So in a panic, I got to remember I got to open the door inward as I'm running out of here. Okay, that's not going to happen. I'm just kidding around. Okay, the switch is off. Let's start with it off. Just to be sure off is off. And the power. Power is applied. 116 volts, but we're going to be running it through these lights, so it's not going to get 116. So power off, switch on. This is the moment of truth. Jim, did you do something dumb? If I did something really dumb, these lights will come on just fully bright and just stay that way. You didn't even see them come on. But you see there's a little panel light here that's come on. So very good. That's a good sign. Next good sign would be hearing something come out of the speaker. And then tuning in a station.
Successfully helped thousands of people change their
There's a ground wire on this radio, but the ground wire just goes to the chassis. So this is the same ground here.
Super Bowl in New Orleans with the play Pro Line Plus Super Bowl 58 proper.
Under the Freedom of Information law for this student mandate written after the 28th.
Fading right out. Well, it could just be the nature of the antenna connection that I have here. Let me just check something quickly. Tune in a station. Oh, the interference is terrible. No idea what it is. Not that. Tune in a stronger station.
Impact levy, which had been threatened to be part of the budget, the federal government did not come through with funding to help and support refugees. But now we know that funding is coming from the federal government as the mayor and the deputy prime minister get set to make an announcement this afternoon. What will those dollars look like? Yesterday, Mayor Olivia Chow seemed optimistic but did not give any specifics.
We've been having very productive conversation with the federal government. We're very grateful for their help.
The announcement of the rest of the refugees city name. America's three famous heroes on this Groundhog Day to let us know whether or not we are going to have spring or more winter.
I'm trying to figure out which one of those is the oscillator, and I cannot. Okay, we're going to tune off just a little bit. The ticking interference went way down. Nothing to do with what I'm... Oh, nothing to do with... I don't think it has anything to do with what I'm doing. Very quiet up here. Uh-oh. Short circuit just occurred. Oh, that was interesting. A final demonstration of how this all works. So I think I know what happened there. We're going to turn the radio off. How did I get a sudden short circuit? As I tipped the radio, I didn't really realize I had the radio sitting right on this. See what happened here is this wire was shorting out in here. As I tipped it up. It's probably fine like that, but there's going to be a little bit of damage just under here. Jeepers. Son of a gun. Take a closer look. I could be wrong about what I just, I think that's the, hey, where'd my other camera go? Here it is. What happened to the focus? What happened to your focus? Just a second here. Huh. That's not very good. I might be able to just cut this just cut this part out and shorten up the lead and put it back together. It's just soldered here. So I think that's what I'll do. Because there's lots of wire. Okay. Another repair. We're going to cut this right the exposed area. Soldered this first. Oh, careful. What am I doing? Don't do that. Bad habit. Don't hold a soldering iron while you do other stuff. Sooner or later you're going to poke your clothes or worse yet. Which side is the contact? This looks like the contact side. Didn't make a note of that. Okay, can we just do this with this hanging out here? I doubt it. Come on, wire. Yeah. Oh no. Well, that just went flying. Look at that dummy, eh? I mounted it. Oh, you didn't even see what happened. Oh, son of a gun. So I put that piece on this wire. I pushed it down like this, and when I let go, the wire popped up and flung the piece. And it went, goodness knows where. It went over here somewhere. Oh. Okay, gotta hunt that part down. I really need it. Well, this isn't going well. So I look back on the video, and you can clearly see the little tiny part come trickling off the edge of my bench and go straight down to the floor. Do you think I can find it? Here is it. So I've started to clear everything away, and I've swept everything up off my floor. It's not in here. I've moved all these things, like all this stuff. Couldn't find it. Oh my God. You see, you never know. You never know what it's going to be. In this case, it's looking for a little part on the floor. How can it be that I watched a little piece on the video fall from my bench, right here, straight down to there, and I don't know, how much more can I look for? There's not much left to look anymore. I kind of dragged everything out of there, and you know, it must have bounced into something. Yeah, bounced into another dimension. That's what happened. So I just spent well over an hour looking for this thing, and I finally found it, and I'm going to show you where it is. Let's just turn down some of the lights here. So first thing is, I played that video over and over and over. Just the moment where I drop the little piece. You can go back and do the same thing. You'll see the little piece, everything's kind of moved around here, but you see a little piece kind of dribble off my bench and drop down. The thing I thought it hit this. But after analyzing things, this couldn't have been hit. This was over here more, because the edge of the desk is too far over. And I analyzed that sound more. The sound of it falling. It's a very unusual sound. Oh. It's very strange. It's heading for a carpet, and the sound should have been nothing. But instead, it makes a series of clicking sounds. And what I finally determined was on the way down, it struck this little piece here. And when it did, it was deflected at some of my tubes I have stored there. I have vacuum tubes stored there. And when I looked down in here, what did I find? There it is. Oh my gosh. Well, it had to be somewhere, didn't it? Wow. Okay, so it's later in the afternoon. That's about mid-afternoon, actually. I'm not sure what more I'm going to do here today. I just wore myself out trying to find this guy. Well, yeah, I think I'm going to stop now. It's just crazy what's happened here. I have to put my shop back together now. Okay, well, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll try to finish this thing off tomorrow without any more incidents of weirdness happening. Boy, the radio that just won't quit.